Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The House will come to order. In the absence of clergy, let us pause for a moment of silence. Visitors are invited to join the members in the Pledge of Allegiance. A quorum being present, the clerk will read the Journal of Tuesday, May 10th. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to dispense with a further reading of the Journal of Tuesday, May 10th, and that the same stand approved.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I want to note a couple of interesting facts from a historical perspective on May 11th. For instance, on this day in 1751, Benjamin Franklin and Dr. Thomas Bond founded the first hospital in colonial America, known as Pennsylvania Hospital in Center City, Philadelphia. The hospital is still operating in this very same place today under the University of Pennsylvania health system. On this day, May 11th, 1978, Margaret Brewer, the Director of Information for the United States Marine Corps, became the first woman appointed to the grade of Brigadier General in the history of the Marine Corps. And on this day in 1967, the 100 millionth U.S. telephone was connected, including the one at my mother's house and mine. There's about 45 still connected. The rest are all cell phones, but clearly a significant historical fact. Members have on their desks a main calendar, so our schedule today will be to, once introductions and housekeeping are taken care of, we'll continue our work on consent, beginning with calendar number 551, which is where we left off yesterday. We have a debate list on the desks, so members should look to that for a list of additional bills that we will be working on throughout the morning into the afternoon. So with that as a general outline, Mr. Speaker, I note there are introductions. This would be the appropriate time to take that up, as well as any housekeeping you may have.
No housekeeping, but Mr. Santa Barbara, for the purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to interrupt the proceedings for an introduction. Today, I'm very proud to have joining us in the Assembly Chamber the Class B State Championship Varsity Girls Soccer Team from my alma mater, Shawmut High School, in my hometown of Rotterdam. I'm very happy to have them here today. Under the leadership of their coach, Elena Rizou, the Shawmut Sabres finished their season undefeated with 24 wins and 0 losses and brought home the school's second state title. It was Shawmut's second title in 5 years, having won their first in 2011. Throughout the amazing season, the Sabres worked as a team to overcome every obstacle, relying on each other and finishing their season stronger than ever before. They had the support of loyal and enthusiastic family in our hometown of Rotterdam, friends, fans, and the entire community. This team will be remembered for its athletic ability, good sportsmanship, honor, and scholarship. These players proved themselves to be a superior combination of athletic and academic talents and have made our school proud and our community proud. While no player's role was too small, a few of these athletes stood out and were recognized on the Albany Times-Union All-Star team. Julia Rossi was named Times-Union Girls Soccer Player of the Year. Sydney Metzold, Molly Older, Alex Hordewell, Julia Rossi, and Kennedy Kronk were named first-team All-Stars, and Davia Rossi and Rachel Cardinal were named second-team All-Stars. And, of course, Coach Rizou was named Soccer Coach of the Year. Additionally, Davia Rossi, an 8th grader at Shawmut, was one of the team's youngest stars and named Times-Union Girls Athlete of the Month for November. Davia started coming off the bench for the team before joining the starting lineup. This is an example of just how much this team grew over that season. She was a key player in the team's semifinal win, scoring the winning goal in Shawmut's victory. I'm very proud to have this state championship Shawmut Sabres varsity girls soccer team here with us today, Mr. Speaker. They are joined by one of their wonderful teachers, Karen Ryder. Athletics instill values of teamwork in our children, pride and accomplishment. And Coach Rizou, these amazing athletes have held true to Chalmont's tradition of providing excellence in all categories. We're very happy to have them here today. We'll be recognizing them with an assembly resolution that we'll take up later today. But for now, Mr. Speaker, I ask that you welcome these students, their teacher, and their coach to the Assembly Chamber and extend to them all the cordialities of the House.
Certainly. On behalf of Mr. Santa Barbara, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome these extraordinary athletes and students here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floors, congratulate you on a great season, and hope that those of you who are returning will be able to duplicate that in the upcoming year. Thank you so very much for being with us, and congratulations. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. In just a few moments, we'll be taking up a resolution by Mr. Zabrowski on a critically important subject related to hepatitis C. But I didn't want the moment to pass without acknowledging his wonderful mother, who is in the chamber today. Many of us had the distinct privilege of serving with two different Ken Zabrowskis. Ken, our current colleague, obviously, is speaking about something that's very important to his family, to his mom, who has once again joined us as a guest in the chamber. We're always delighted to see her and to know that she's still 4 houses away from young Ken, so she keeps an eye on him, which we're delighted when he's not here in Albany with us. But if you'd please extend, on behalf of all of us, the Speaker and all the members, all the cordialities and greetings to Mrs. Zabrowski.
Certainly, on behalf of Mr. Morelli, the Speaker, and all the members, Mr. Zabrowski, we welcome you here to the Assembly. You are family, so you always have the privileges of the floor. You clearly have to be very proud of your son. We are very proud of him also. Please continue to support us and be there, and keep an eye on that young man. Thank you so very much. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, sir. If we can go to page 3 of the main calendar, and we're going to begin with that resolution, Assembly Resolution 1321 by Mr. Zabrowski, and I understand he wishes to be heard on the resolution.
Clerk will read.
Resolution number 1321, Mr. Zabrowski. Legislative resolution memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim May 2016 as Hepatitis C Awareness Month in the state of New York.
Mr. Zabrowski on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a privilege to stand before the House again and ask for support of this resolution. You know, we do some of these things each and every session, but particularly with hepatitis C, not only does it continue to be an epidemic, but we've actually made great strides. So with these resolutions each year, we can be proud that New York has actually seen an increase in testing of folks of about 66%. And what that means is hepatitis C actually has cures. But in order to be cured, you need to know that you have the disease. And if you do not know, unfortunately, the way that it progresses is it silently attacks your liver until the point that the treatments are no longer effective. So we pass this each year, and we go out, hopefully, around the state in our districts and encourage folks to get tested. That's the good news. The bad news is actually hepatitis C is now the leading infectious disease killer of any disease in the United States and around the world. So we still continue to have work to do, but it's, awareness is the key, and getting folks into those treatments and hopefully towards a cure. So I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ask all my colleagues to continue to support the resolution. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you, sir. On the resolution, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Mr. Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could go to page 45 of the main calendar, we'll begin consenting with calendar number 551 by Mr. Pretlow.
Clerk will read.
Assembly 9125, Calendar 551, Mr. Pretlow, an act to amend Chapter 473 of the laws of 2010.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our first vote of the day. Please, if you're in the chambers, please cast your vote. And any folks who can hear us, please come to the chamber so they can cast their first vote of the day as well.
Certainly. First vote of the day, members. If you're in your seats, please vote. If you are in the sound of our voice, please come, check in, and vote. Thank you. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 123, noes 0.
The bill is passed.
Assembly 9191, Calendar 552, Ms. Rosenthal, an act to amend the tax law.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote.